If you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering how to use perspective in your drawings. I'm going to show you how it's not really trigonometry and crazy math, but instead some simple rules that you can use to instantly make your drawings look more 3D. Plus, I'm going to show you some bonus tips of how this is actually used in people's artwork and things like cinematography. So let's get right into it. Okay, hi, my name is Alex, and you might know me as Radio Runner on the internet. Welcome to my channel where I help you learn art and also bring you along my journey learning it as well. So this image right here is what's going to be the final demo for this video. I show you what 1, 2, and 3-point perspective are, and I'll show you how you can implement a piece of artwork like this going forward. Today, I'm going to show you the 3 key uses of perspective and how they apply to cinematography and your own artwork. Once you get into this, you're going to be able to draw faster, you're going to be on your way to drawing from the imagination, and things are going to look more 3D. And if you like this video, it helps me a ton for you to click the subscribe button down below. I've got new videos planned going forward. I'm going to hope to try and get them out every 2 weeks at least, and then we'll see and go from there. And tell me, do you guys have any problems with drawing in perspective? If you do, go ahead and leave a comment below and let's start a discussion. Let's get started. So 1-point perspective, what is it? When you draw in 1-point perspective, everything is going to recede back to what is called a vanishing point. And that's where you have a horizon line, which you just draw horizontally onto your page, and then draw lines receding back to it. You can see for myself here, I draw sideways lines and vertical lines. Sideways goes parallel with your lines. Vertical goes like this. Now that you've drawn a box flat in front, you're going to take all of the corners and pull them back to that dot. Here's a little demonstration where I show you that in 1-point perspective, it's as if you were looking at a box directly from the face forward. You can see that I draw a box and take all of the corners and recede them back to that vanishing point. No matter where you put a flat square, you'll always take it back to that dot and it will be in perspective. In order to close the box, you can just make more horizontal and parallel lines and connect them on the way to the diagonals receding to the vanishing point. And here you can see we're drawing a box that's above us, above the line, so you can see underneath it. Let's go over what a horizon line is. If you take a piece of your page and draw a horizontal line across it, that is your horizon line that you can base all of your perspective off of. When you put a point on it, every line that comes away from it is going to get closer to us in perspective. So see, we take some rectangles, we draw horizontal lines, and then we connect them. And the closer they get to that dot, the farther they're going away into space. What can we do with 1 point though? Let's just draw a couple boxes here and see what we can make out of it. It looks the easiest to make sense of like a small cityscape. Maybe we can draw some cars in here. Keep in mind that all I did was just draw the flat boxes, take them back to the line and add little lines that show windows. Next, I'm going to show you something a little bit more advanced. You can fake looking down with 1-point perspective. So let's try that and add Miles Morales in front of here. Now you've got a cool city shot. How cool is that just knowing 1-point perspective can give you amazing angles like looking down with Miles falling. This is from the original movie, guys, so pros are using 1-point perspective all of the time. In fact, let's take a look at some cinematography. Here's a few photos that I found online. A couple of them are Wes Anderson. I think that one's just a generic tourist photo, but here's Spider-Verse in the bottom left corner. We're seeing 3 different camera angles here, very different shots. One of them is a city alley, the other one is a bathroom, and then we've got another shot looking down on Miles. But where is the horizon line, right? Where are the lines all pointing to? What you can do is find where there are lines on the page and follow them back until they start to connect. Once you find that connection point, that is the vanishing point dot, and then you can make your horizontal horizon line. So here, let's take away the images and show you just what that looks like from what we had seen earlier. Let's look at a couple more images. A couple of these are from the movie Drive, I think maybe Blade Runner, and more Spider-Verse. Let's find the horizon line again by taking all of those receding lines and seeing where they go. And take a look at that. When you take them all back, you end up just seeing 1 point. So this 1 point perspective can give you all of these different camera shots. How crazy is that? So let's see, 1 point is good for symmetry, storytelling, looking up, down, or directly at something. Pretty cool. Now what is 2 point? Let's say that we take 1 point and add a second one to that horizon line, right? We're gonna draw your same flat box, but what do? Do you connect the corners to each side? No, that is wrong. Instead, you're going to start with a vertical line perpendicular to the horizon line. Because now, instead of looking at just the face from the front, we're actually looking at the edge of a box. Because now we can see another side of it with 2 point perspective. Or think of it 2 sides perspective. So see here, we draw a vertical line, and from the top, we take a line to vanishing point 1, and that same point is going to go to vanishing point 2 on the right. From there, you can make more vertical lines, and wherever you establish those creates a box in perspective. So how is 2 point used? In this one, where are the vanishing points? The lines are really long here. Let's try zooming out. So here, you can actually see that they're off the page, and that's totally fine. Let's try that again, and this time let's use an interior shot. How do we find lines on that? Okay, so you can see that some of them are zooming out, way out, in order for you to get the right angle to look inside a room. But the point is, you can look inside and outside with the same perspective viewpoint. Let's try to recreate that so you can see what's happening. When I make my vertical lines, anywhere I put them, I can connect them back to those vanishing points and start to make a room. Here's a couple shots from The Princess and the Frog. Let's just take some of the angles that we see there. Clearly there's 2 points going off the page. I think we might be seeing a pattern here. And then we can try and make our own boxes off of it. So if 1 point sees faces only, and 2 point sees edges, what does 3 point see? 3 point sees corners. So now think with 3 point, 3 sides. You'll always be able to see 3 sides. In 3 point perspective, you're gonna start off with a normal 2 point perspective, which is a dot somewhere and a dot somewhere else. But now, if you're gonna be looking up or down, in this example, looking down, you're gonna add that dot all the way down the page. The horizon line shifts upwards because now we're looking down, which means if your eyeballs were down, you're not going to see as much of the sky. And then that vanishing point to the bottom says, hey, everything is now pointing in that direction. And so let's see if we try to flip this. What if we try to look up? We're going to see less of the ground and a lot more of the sky, so that horizon line is going to move all the way to the bottom of the canvas here. When we place that third vanishing point off the page, now we're looking up at buildings. It's pretty cool. But now let's see how it's used. You can do a bird's eye view with you looking down and really zoomed out. Because of this, it's great for environment design to get that big layout. But you can also have a worm's eye view where, like you saw on the last page, you're looking up. And because of this, everything is huge. What if you were just a small worm looking up at a huge building? That's what it feels like. 3 point perspective is also great for super dynamic shots. What if you were looking up, but it's too symmetrical with just 1 point? You can make it into a 3 point perspective shot. Think about video games. When you look down, all of those lines start to shift. If you look at that pretty critically, which you can kind of see in these screenshots here. If we try to find where all the lines are vanishing to, we can start to identify that the horizon line is way up off of the page because we can't see the sky at all anymore. We're looking down at the ground. Vanishing point 3 is actually in canvas this time because we're going to be looking straight into it. Everything is going to that point. And then let's try again with looking up. Where are the vanishing points in this one? If we follow the lines and we take them down, they're way below the canvas because there is no ground here. We're only looking at the sky. We can try to make our own even based off of that grid. So let's put a couple buildings here. The horizon line is off the page. You're looking up now. So you can choose which perspective best suits your final goal. 1 point, 2 point, or 3 point. Okay, so let's have a recap. 1 point perspective is great for symmetry, specific camera shots, and graphic storytelling. If you're drawing comic book panels or you're drawing a movie scene, 1-point perspective is really great for that. 2-point perspective is good for adding depth that looks more natural. It's stable and easy to understand. You can do great interior shots with it, and you can do awesome environment design and really cool shots no matter what. It's probably the best to use unless you're trying to have a more dynamic look, and then you can get into 3-point to add a little more complexity. 3-point is great for true perspective. It's the most accurate perspective to replicate a camera. It's great for dynamism, like showing scale, having extreme angles without distortion. And then you can zoom out to showcase large spaces or interiors. But how do you actually use that in your own drawing? Let's try to set up our own scene. So I want to have a shot where we're looking down at a bunch of people. I'm imagining kind of, it might be 1-point, this might actually be 3-point perspective, but see how I put this vanishing point on the page so that we're looking down, and then I imagine trying to draw stairs off of that horizon line that is going diagonally up to the left. So this is pretty tricky here. I'm drawing a bunch of figures in perspective in that downwards facing angle. But you can see that the scene starts to come together, and we've got a downwards facing shot of a stairwell and some windows. So the key takeaway that I want you guys to walk away with here is that when you're practicing your tutorials with Drawbox and Modern Day James, and they're showing you how to do perspective, and it's just drawing a bunch of boxes to a bunch of points, there is a purpose to that. There is a method to the madness. It lets you do stuff like this. It lets you do stuff like Spider-Verse. It lets you do stuff like cool animation and tricky camera shots in video games. Okay guys, so let me know if this actually makes sense for you. I'm trying to organize these in a way that actually makes it useful for beginners who might not know why we're doing the stuff that we do. I know that when I was first starting out, I was doing the stuff and I was just grinding away at it, but I didn't actually have an idea of what its purpose was until things clicked about 6 months or a year later. And maybe we can actually kind of skip that clicking point and get you on a track faster. And so that's it. If you enjoyed this video, you'll probably like my other one, which is to tell you to actually stop drawing just boxes and get into the real secret for how to draw better in perspective. Thanks for sitting down with me today and going over what perspective can do for you. If you liked this video, leave a like below, hit that thumbs up button, share this video around. There's going to be more to come. I'm going to be talking about my curriculum and how to use it. We're going to be going over how to learn effectively and efficiently so that you can try to mirror how I got to this point in just 2 years. Okay, so that's it guys. If you liked this and want to talk to me more directly, you can find me on Discord with the link to the server below in the description, or find me on Instagram at Radio Runner. So if you liked this and you want to talk more directly to me about these videos or the curriculum itself, you want to learn with other people who are working on the curriculum too, you can hop on in, and in the future we're going to try doing live streams, we're going to try doing critiques and paintovers. The world is really our oyster here, and I'm excited to get things going. Okay, I'll quit rambling. I wish the best to you guys and happy learning.